Systems of equations. This is a review of part 9. In today's lesson, students will review how to find a solution to a system of equations using elimination and substitution. Using what? You better say it. Very good. So today we're reviewing how to find a solution to a system of equations. Remember, a system is two equations. A system is what? And these lines are going to intersect at one point. The point of intersection is called a solution. It's called a what? Very good. So let's go ahead and look at number 1. So number 1 has two equations. Those are both lines. And it says 2x minus y equals -4 and 3x plus y equals -4. Look at the directions. What do they tell you to do? We're first going to use elimination. What are we going to eliminate? We're going to eliminate y, and then we can add the equations together. We're looking for x. We're looking for what? X. So to show that we're going to add these equations together, we can draw a long line with a plus sign. Now, what is negative y and positive y? Negative y and positive y make 0. So cross them out. And now I'll ask you, what is 2x plus 3x? That's pretty simple, right? 2x plus 3x is, add 2 plus 3, it's 5x. And so 5x now equals a -4 and a -1. Do these numbers have the same sign or different signs? The same sign, right? So you say, same signs, add and keep, stop. So you have two negative numbers. Add them together, you're going to get a negative, right? You're actually going to get -5. Now we have 5x equals -5. We need to solve for x. That's what we're doing. What is the x value? This is 5 times x. 5 times what number gives you -5? What is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. You're going to divide both sides by 5. So this line means division. When you divide both sides by 5, 5 divided by 5 is 1. You're left with x equals, what is -5 divided by 5? Well, remember Bob, he says a negative divided by a positive is negative. So this, -5 divided by 5, what is it? It's what? It's negative what? -1. I'll write it in red. -1. Okay. Box around it. See that? -1. So the next step is to substitute for x. So you're going to put -1 right where you see x. What is substitution? Say, substitution. Putting a number in the place of a letter. So we're going to put -1 in the place of x. Now there's parentheses around the x, which means I'm going to multiply 3 times -1, and then continue to write the equation. Plus y equals a -1. Now we have an equation where we have to solve for y. But first tell me, what is 3 times -1? Remember, a positive times a negative is what? Negative. So this is -3. Very good. -3 plus y equals -1. Now we have to solve this equation for y. Remember how to solve equations? First, make a t, just like this. Leave a little bit of space. And then, what are you going to do to both sides? Because we're looking for what y is. So we look at what's next to it. What's the opposite of -3? It's +3. Oops. +3, +3, +3. Okay? And then a -3 and a +3 make 0. Bring down the y. So what does y equal? Y equals a -1 and a +3. Are they the same signs or different signs? Different signs, right? So you're going to say, different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So you do 3 minus 1. What's the higher number? It's 3. So y is going to be 2. So your answer, again, the solution is the point of intersection x comma y. So what is x? X is -1. What is y? Y is, what is it? 2. So that would be the answer. And this box is over here on your notes. Go ahead and get that down. Now let's solve the system to find a solution for number 2. What number are we on? Number 2. So we follow our step by step. Each box has a step. It tells you what to do. Read it. Maybe you'll figure it out. Okay, number 1. We're going to eliminate y and add equations. So we're going to add these equations together. This is a strategy used on the SAT to find solutions. So eliminate y. Let's look at the y's for a second. You have a -4y and a +4y. So even if there are these coefficients in front, these are opposites. So -4y and +4y, cross them out. Eliminate them. They make 0. Now you're going to add your x's because what we're trying to do is first solve for x. What's 3x plus 5x? It's, what is it? Tell me. 8x. Very good. I'm going to write it right here. 8x equals, now what are we doing to 16 and 16? Remember? We're adding them. So what is 16 plus 16? Well, 6 plus 6 is 2. Well, 12. 2, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 32. Okay? So 8x equals 32. If 8x equals 32, what do we have to do to both sides? You remember? We're going to divide both sides by 8. When we divide both sides by 8, 8 divided by 8 is 1. What does x equal? How many times does 8 go into 32? 8, 16, 24, 32. That's 4, right? Yeah? I got songs. You could use a calculator. It's fine. 32 divided by 8 is 4. So x here is 4. All right, so we're going to write a 4 right where x is. Now that we found x, we're going to substitute for x in this equation, which is the second equation, 5x plus 4y equals 16. We are going to put the 4 in the place of x, but there's parentheses. So the parentheses tell you to do what? They tell you to multiply 5 times 4. Then we're going to add 4y. It's going to equal 16. So what is 5 times 4? Multiplying. They're both positive numbers. 5 times 4, what is it? It's 20. Plus 4y equals 16. So now you have an equation you have to solve. We're solving for y. Remember how to solve an equation? First make a t. Separate both sides of the equation, leaving a little bit of space because we're going to do something to both sides. Circle 4y because we're trying to get y by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by 4. What is the opposite of positive 20? Because that's positive. What's the opposite? It's negative 20. So if you subtract 20 from both sides, a positive 20 and a negative 20 make 0. Bring down 4y. So now 4y equals what? 16 minus 20. Don't tell me it's 4. Because it's a positive 16 and a negative 20. So are they same signs or different signs? Different signs. So you say different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So it's going to be negative 4, but we are not done yet. If 4y equals negative 4, what do we have to do to both sides? We have to do what? We have to divide by 4. So you're going to put a division sign, divide by 4, and divide by 4. Okay? What is negative 4 divided by 4? What do you think that is? Yes, it is negative 1. Remember, you have a negative divided by a positive makes negative. So y would equal negative 1. So y is -1. So the solution for this system is 4, -1. These two lines would intersect at this point. Write that down. We're on our last example, example 3. So the two equations that we have are x minus 2y equals 2 and x plus 2y equals -6. What should we do first? We have to eliminate y and add equations. So let's add these equations together. When we do that, let's eliminate y. You have a -2y and a +2y make 0. What about these x's? What do you think x plus x is? X plus x is, it's 2x. You want to know why? Because there is an invisible 1 here in front of the x and also here. So we're adding actually two x's together and that becomes 2x equals. We have a 2, +2 and a -6. Do those integers have the same sign or different signs? Different signs. So you're going to say different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So we subtract 6 minus 2, which is what? 4. But what's the higher number? 6. So this is going to be -4. Cool. What do we do now? Divide by what? Divide both sides by 2. When you divide both sides by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. You're going to get that x equals, what's -4 divided by +2? Negative divided by positive is negative, so this is going to be -2. Okay? -2. So x is -2. I'm going to write it in red so we see that that is x. Now we substitute for x. What is x? X is -2. And there are some parentheses around it, but you don't need to keep the parentheses. What are we putting in the place of x? -2. Then we're going to rewrite the equation, and now we have to solve for y. So -2 plus 2y equals -6. How do we solve this equation? First make a t. Okay, circle 2y, that's what we're looking for. Then we say, what is the opposite of -2? It's +2. A -2 and a +2 make 0. Bring down 2y. 2y now equals, hey, is this the same? -6 and +2? And 2, +2 and -6? Are they the same? Aren't they just switched? Uh-huh. So what is it? Negative what? -4. So dividing both sides now by what? 2. Remember what y is going to be? What's a -4 divided by 2? We have it right here. Isn't it -2? So y is also -2. That means that these two lines are going to cross at the intersection, -2, -2.